And welcome to Hero Power. It's been a few weeks. we took the holidays off. So if you guys are just joining us, this is episode 160. I'm your host, Avantes, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Versika.
What's up, guys? We really need to get to work on updating that intro video.
Yeah, we've had some other cool guests on. We need to work them in. And Zeroshio.
Like riding a bike with no handlebars.
Or bike seat. And Man at Arms.
So it's the new year. Has anybody seen Malfurion? He kind of disappeared.
Mal who?
Yeah, there was a hero that we had in the before the new year. He just disappeared.
Yeah, we'll actually talk about that a little later in the show. But first up, so it's been about 4 weeks, I guess, right about a month since we've done a show. We had our card reviews, so we hope you guys enjoyed our Rosticon Rumble card review, and we released that over the holiday season. So this is our first live show of 2019. So what did you guys do in your time off? Versika, we'll start with you.
It's just craziness. Holidays always are. You get a little bit of travel in there, a little bit of family visiting, clean up, put up, all that good stuff. So I actually didn't do a lot of gaming.
Well, that's cool. Zeroshio, what did you do during your time off?
I too also had a lot of family and travel and whatnot. I did not have a lot of time for gaming, but that just means I sneak it under the table on my phone or up on the laptop at the in-laws' house. And the month of December recorded my least amount of time able to play games, but I made Legend in Standard, Wild, and I made Masters in Eternal. So I hit the trifecta, got myself a hat trick, got as high as 180 Legend in Wild, and it was kind of like a practice grounds for me for this month. Right now, I've gotten up to 2. I fell down to 3. So I'm pushing for that for that Legend this month, and we'll talk more about that later in the news. Why I'm doing that, but it was a good month for me, despite not being able to play all that much. And I got to also go and hang out with Avantes at his house and play Hearthstone on my laptop while he built his son a desk. And I told my wife I was helping.
Yeah. Matt, how about you? What did you do over the holiday?
I pretty much just went to work and went home and destroyed my kitchen. We're doing a kitchen renovation now, so that's it's a lot of fun and work and not a lot of fun. So, especially when you find carpet under cabinets.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So. that was really interesting. Normally it's the other way around. Normally you fill up carpet and you find something else, but
no, we found I pulled a cabinet out of the wall and I found a nice swatch of carpet that's from probably the 1950s. So, wow. But yeah, other than that, played a little Hearthstone, played a little everything else, and had a good time.
Nice. I like Zeroshio said, I spent most of my holiday kind of working on building my first piece of furniture. I built a desk with inset LED lighting for my son. And when I wasn't doing that, I was pretty much kind of just playing some Hearthstone, playing some Eternal, playing some Magic: The Gathering Arena, getting my card game fix. because you can never play too many card games. I don't care what they say.
I would like to give you a shout out. That desk that you made your son for Christmas was off the chain. It was really well made, looks really cool. He should be very proud to have a handy father and be able to show that off. It's really neat.
All I did was build it. I had a little help with the design from Versika. We sat down one night and talked through the design of the desk, and then I just pretty much went to work cutting the wood and putting it together.
I knew you were handy, but I knew you couldn't have been that smart. So, that makes more sense that Versika's ingenuity and brains were involved in that desk, and you're just sweating elbows, right?
Hey, you got to put that architecture degree to use somewhere.
That's right. So, all right. Well, let's talk about Hearthstone, because there was a little bit of news happened in the last 4 weeks while we were gone.
Actually, there's been a lot of news within like the last week.
Yeah.
But we have a lot to talk about that's come out within the last 4 weeks. It's so much.
Yeah, and we're gonna brush through some of this that's older because you guys have probably already heard it on some of the other Hearthstone podcasts. But there were some balance changes that happened. Wild Growth was moved to 3 mana. Nourish got moved to 6. Level Up, the Paladin card that was driving Odd Paladin, got moved up to 6. Chain Gang used to summon a copy. Now it summons another Chain Gang, so not a copy. So it kind of hit the Shutterwalk combo. Instead of summoning another Shutterwalk, it now summons a Chain Gang. So that kind of killed that combo. And then Leeching Poison, which was really big in the Kingsbane rogue, got actually moved from 2 mana down to 1. However, the ability doesn't stay on the sword like it used to. Now it only applies this turn, and then it goes away. So that kind of helped to remove some of the power of the Kingsbane. It helped bring it in line, sort of.
Yeah, to kind of just gloss over this, because like a lot of us know already, this is kind of old news, but how it's impacted the meta. Druid, Wild Growth and Nourish being changed has pretty much crippled Druid to the point it's not being played. Hence the joke of Malfurion being missing. Now, a lot of people think that either Wild Growth or Nourish should have been nerfed, not both. But if you nerf one up a mana and the other one not, then they both can be either an odd or even Druid together, depending which way you nerf it. So I do like that they did both of them. Level Up being nerfed, we thought would be the death of Odd Paladin, but we're seeing via HS replay that Odd Paladin is still one of the top decks, if not the top deck in some of the regions. And it is not as oppressive as it was, in my opinion, but it's still a very competitive deck without Level Up. They're just putting in other cards to kind of just not, I'll put all your money in on the hero power and your Silverhand recruits, but actually have some more sustain on the board. The Chain Gang's a good solid nerf. It does indirectly nerf Keleseth as well. And then Leeching Poison, this was pretty big for the original version of Kingsbane that was out there, but right now we're looking at a Kingsbane rogue that's more aggro intensive. So
especially in Wild.
But the Kingsbane deck that existed in Wild, which was more oppressive than it was in Standard, is gone. But this new aggro version is up. So while this shook up the meta a bit, I don't think it crippled many decks other than Druid.
Yeah, I think, but the Wild Growth change and the Nourish, especially the Wild Growth change, they basically did the exact same thing they did to Warrior about a year ago, when they nerfed Fiery War Axe to 3. So basically, this class is going to be down and out for a little while. Yeah, level and I've been playing actually level up in wild with Adjusticar, so it's still pretty good with Adjusticar Paladin. That's pretty good still. And yeah, Chain Gang's still very much playable. And if you're thinking about dusting these cards, well, it's a little too late because today was the last day to do it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that was the next thing. The last day for dust refunds. It's over. So that actually all came out on the December 9th patch. So they gave you a month. If you haven't done it by now, then you know that's like I didn't dust anything because I very rarely, very rarely ever dust anything on a nerf just because I know at some point those cards will probably become relevant again, and the last thing I want to do is, I don't know, dust a patches and then have to recreate a patches and to play wild.
Well, I mean, I if it's epic or above, I dust it. So
Yeah.
I actually did dust the nourishes because both of my nourishes were golden.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
Nice.
I would do that.
So I figured that I would I figure I'll pull them through,
Packs.
you know, Tavern Brawl packs or something between now and whenever. So one of the things that this nerf did, besides being super decisive, which I liked that they were just like, okay, look, we gave you a set. It didn't change the meta hardly any. You guys aren't playing with the new cards. So they took that data and they evaluated it and was just like, okay, why? And then they made decisions based on that. So I don't know that I necessarily agree with Wild Growth needing to be nerfed. I think the nerf would have been enough. I think the Wild Growth nerf on top of the Nourish nerf was, I think it was a little much. But one of the things that this did was it was so hard to counter Q against Hunter because you had to contend with Druid, you had to contend with Kingsbane Rogue, and you had to contend with Shutterlock because all of those were being actively played in the meta. This pretty much killed those three decks as they were and allowed you to actually counter Q against Hunter and find success. So I think it was good for the ladder meta. I don't know that it's necessarily good for the tournament meta. We'll see. But as far as like, you know, they gave us a balanced meta with Witchwood. And that kind of continued over a little bit into Boomsday. I felt like the Boomsday meta wasn't as balanced, but it was still pretty balanced. You still saw a pretty large number of classes. So climbing the ladder was difficult. People have been asking for a balanced meta for a long time. And then when they got it, they found that they actually didn't like it very much. So this change put a king at the top as far as play rate. And it allowed people to start climbing, I feel like, at a faster pace than they were before the nerfs. So as far as like ladder goes, I feel like that was a positive change for the bulk of the players on the standard ladder.
Okay. Yeah. That's a pretty good assessment of exactly what happened after that patch hit. So there was a patch.
So is this where I go to Zeroshio and say I told you so?
I was waiting. I was waiting for it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with the nerfs. I do like after these nerfs is when I had my best time of playing in Hearthstone. It kind of brought certain decks out into the limelight that have had a hard time getting into Tier 1, namely OTK Paladin. OTK Paladin became very viable with the nerfing of Druid as well as a few of the other decks that were kind of causing some oppression in the meta. And it led to a rise in Hunter, which OTK Paladin does a good job beating. So I'm happy with this nerf. So if you being right, means that I had better time in Hearthstone, I'll take it.
Another winner in this whole mess with this whole nerf, other than the fact that like us, because it happened on the same freaking day as they announced it, was Priest. Priest was probably down near the bottom for a while, especially with Drew being so good.
What, mid-tier 3 at best?
Yeah, mid-tier 3.
Best.
Now it's the third most brought class in the EU playoffs.
But at the same time, it Priest is also a high skill intensive deck, as we can see in recent tournaments. And we're not going to go into detail about this. If you want more detail about this, definitely check out the most recent episode of Coin Concede. The WSOE did an all women's tournament, and Hafu brought the APM Priest and had some trouble piloting. Now, mind you, Hafu also is not a normal constructed player. She normally plays in arena the majority of her play, so it's not uncommon for someone playing in arena, dipping into constructed, to make some mechanical mistakes with the deck. But it does take a lot of skill to run it. Priest is just good right now, which I don't like because I have trouble beating Priest. But it makes for a really good meta, and our league matches are going to be coming up in Team Hearth Legends, and I cannot wait to see how the meta shakes out.
Yeah, and we actually had another patch drop today. Again, that was part of that dust refund being over, but there was also some arena rebalancing that happened in this patch, where Hunter, Rogue, and Warrior have had all of their average quality of arena picks actually lowered, and Druid, Mage, Paladin, Priest, Shaman, and Warlock have had all of their average quality picks actually raised to try to kind of balance all the classes out. Have any of you guys been playing any arena lately and noticed a big difference, Zeroshio?
Well, I haven't played obviously since this patch hit when this new balance came out with, but when they did the last balance changes, there were also some arena changes to it as well, and the buckets really got a little unbalanced for a while, specifically that I noticed in Rogue and Warrior, and obviously Hunter was one of those, but I didn't see it so much in Hunter, but I definitely saw Rogue and Warrior went up. I had I think a 11 win run with Rogue, and I had a 10 win run with Warrior, and obviously those were the two classes I tried to pick the most. I do like that they are balancing out some of these buckets and showing a concern for other formats like Limited, as well as they're showing some attention towards Wild with the most recent event that's going on. But again, we'll be talking about that here in a minute. I do like that they are catering towards multiple types of play. It makes me hopeful in the next coming years that they might expand on some of these formats. Like maybe we'll have multiple formats in arena where you can play a Wild arena, or you can play a standard arena, or maybe a special arena that only has certain sets both out of Wild and standard. That would be really cool to see. And this is just the start of something that I think could happen in the future. So this makes me happy.
Anybody else have anything they want to add about Arena before we move on?
I feel like they've struggled to balance Arena for a long time. I had no desire to play Arena because it actually costs money or gold to do it, and it's an RNG role as to whether you're even going to be, whether you're either going to get viable cards to draft with. I feel like the buckets have been too large, in a sense that it's conceivable that the person you're playing with or the person you're playing against has a considerably better selection of cards to choose from when drafting their deck than you did. To me, that's a balance problem with the way the system works before you ever get into a game. So the fact that you even have to pay for that mode to me, it just seems like a bad deal across the board. So until they figure out the balancing issues up front, it's just not. I feel like that mode needs so much work that it's going to take some major. It's going to take some major work before I put any hard-earned gold or money into it anytime soon, unless they give me like the free ticket.
And I would agree with your point of view to a point, but I will say that these changes can possibly be the start of fixing that problem. These are the types of changes that need to be made, and I do try to play more more arena, usually when a new set drops, and I started playing a little bit more after that. Now I find myself saving up my gold and actually wanting to play more arena. So hopefully this is the type of change that fosters more balance in the draft picks before you even get into a game, and maybe it'll entice you to want to play some arena.
Yeah, so it would almost have to be so like when you play, like a pack draft or a booster draft in Magic, everyone is guaranteed to at least get one shot at a rare. Let's say, there have been times where I've gone up against people with 3 legendaries in their arena deck, and I was lucky to draft 3 rares in mine. So, it's until they figure out those kind of balance issues where there's like you're guaranteed to get at least 1 legendary, or you're guaranteed to get at least 2 epics in your drafting pool, then it's just not. To me, it's never going to be.
They have done balance changes to that effect that guarantees specific type of buckets. I believe it's the 5th or the 10th and the 20th and the 30th, if I'm not mistaken.
It's like at least the 5th, the 10th. It's like it's every 5 picks you should get a rare or better, I think.
Yeah, it's rare or better. Now, it's not to the point that you're guaranteed, say, a legendary, but they do have specific spots during the draft that everyone's guaranteed a specific bucket or better.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that you need to balance it in the way where you're guaranteed a legendary. I would say they need to balance it in the way that you can only have so many of a particular type. Like, I don't necessarily need a legendary in every arena deck, but I don't want to go up against an opponent that's got 3.
That's fair. And
so
I would
cap it at 1. If you're lucky enough to get a legendary, hey, that's good. But I mean, 1 legendary isn't going to make or break your deck.
I think
can.
I'd like.
I don't know. I've gone like 1 and 3 with like a 4 legendary deck once because it was just bad. So
I've gotten quite a few legends in some of my drafts, and they've just been horrible decks.
I'm just saying the card disparity in my experience in Arena, which is very limited because of the card disparity. It just never felt like it was balanced from the get-go. And the fact that it's the only mode that you have to pay to play, to me it seems like that would be the mode you would want to be the most balanced. And to me it seems like it's consistently the most unbalanced.
I agree with you, but I will also say the last 2 patches they've done, not counting this one, have fostered a better environment in that, and it may be worth trying out again. Just as a test. Maybe next time you get a free ticket, try it out and see if it's changed for you.
I don't even know if I played my last free ticket. I think I may have let it expire.
Up. Probably no, they don't expire. They just stack up.
Yeah. Then I had to have played it because I don't have a free ticket now.
So, all right. Well, the other big change in this patch was some changes to the single-player campaign for Rostacon's Rumble called the Rumble Run. So I think we talked a little bit about this before we took our break for the holidays. But the changes that have come with Rumble Run are they're giving you more synergistic options weighted in your favor, which is good because you can be building your deck one way and then get nothing that you need, and that really kind of throws your whole deck building off. Some of the boss decks have actually been nerfed, which I will say is probably a good thing, although I know a lot of people were really digging how hard some of these bosses were to get through. The shrine you lost with plus shrine, is that you lost are now always the selection?
So basically, the way the shrines are now offered to you now, like it's the shrine that you lost with, and the shrine that you lost to, plus a random shrine. Is your when you start up Rumble Run?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this benefits those that are trying to win with all the different shrines, like myself. I've won with 4 different shrines, but then I'll have to concede a run because my next run I won't get, anything but ones I've won with already. And now that I've guaranteed one I lost with or the boss's shrine, this at least lets me keep going and trying to accomplish that. I still think I would like to see a tracker that showed me what I've won with. But this is a decent change.
Yeah. And then as they've done with all previous single player campaigns, they have added in a Rumble daily quest that will randomly pop into your quest log. So be on the lookout for that.
I will say that the one thing that I was lost on with the Rumble Run is that I would have liked to seen a carrot on the stick or like a higher difficulty level, where other ones you got your reward or whatever for beating it, but once you beat it with all the classes, you got a different reward or something like that. I beat the Rumble Run in about 2.5 hours. Now, I thought it was a little easier, but I guess the sentiment across Twitter and Reddit is that this is a lot more difficult than I thought it was. So maybe it's a personal thing for me.
It's so RNG based. You have to get a deck that lines up against. You have to get a decent shrine, and I think we can all agree that the shrines are not equal across the board.
100%.
No.
So
They're not.
You have to get the right shrine, and then you have to get those bosses to line up in order. Because if your shrine doesn't line up with those last 3 bosses, you're just done. I mean, some of those bosses, some of those shrines are just impossible to beat with some of the other shrines. So, for you, the stars aligned early. For some people, the stars still haven't aligned. And, when you do the math, in a large RNG perspective, that's a lot of stuff to have to line up to get through it. So, and maybe that was the intent. Maybe that was the thing, is that they wanted people to play and not be able to get through it as fast. And since they couldn't necessarily dial up the difficulty, they increased the amount of RNG to almost RNG gate you into keeping a certain number of people from completing it in a certain amount of time.
I will admit, now I've probably only done about a dozen attempts, and the best I've done so far is get to 7 wins. And then the last boss just destroyed me.
The final boss, I got there many, many times, and it is significantly more difficult. And I think I'm up to, I think last I checked, I was like 170 some bosses defeated, and I've have 4 runs that I've won, which is a better average than a lot of people have been reporting. But again, I'd like some kind of carrot on the stick. I will say that the 8th boss, the boss of the whole run, was significantly more difficult than the 7th, and sometimes you relied on just the RNG of getting that one class as the 9th boss that your class is good against.
Yep.
Like in the case of if you're playing Warlock and you have the totem or the spirit that whenever damage is done to you, it's instead done to the opponent, and you happen to get the 9th boss being the paladin that has when he takes damage, he does 5 damage to the opponent, and then that's an auto win because you just use your hero power. Your opponent takes the damage, which then hits you, and he takes damage and hits you, and you win in 1 turn. So I never was that lucky, but some people were.
Yeah, no, I've seen videos on YouTube. But yeah, so go give it a shot, have some fun with it. I actually, despite not having completed it, I'm actually having more fun with this single player content than I have with past single player contents.
As for difficulty, it's probably the best, and I kind of agree with you, Horatio. I think if you clear it with a class or with all 9 classes, I think Hakar, the hero, should be an alternate hero portrait for every class, in my opinion.
I would love that, or
but
something.
Yeah, something like that, where like if you something like okay, I rolled this thing and it's, or if you beat like a class with all 3 shrines,
I mean, the art assets are already there, so I can't see why it'd be that much of a trouble.
It's a fun mode. I've beaten it once and I've done like 43 ones, and now that it's been patched, I might go back to it.
Yeah, I will, because I want to try to win with all 27 different spirits. First with all 9 classes, then with all 27 spirits. But I have to keep track of that myself, and it drives me nuts.
All right, so next up we have what Zeroshio was kind of hinting at earlier in the show. The Wild Open is underway. So if you're not familiar, Blizzard announced they are going to be doing the Wild Open this year, and to qualify a top 100 ladder finish for this month, the month of January, on each server will get you invited to the playoffs. Then all those players will compete. The top 2 from each playoff will go to the finals. And then all those final 6 or 8 players, I guess, because you've got to count China. Yeah, the final 8 players will then face off in the Wild Open Finals on February 23rd. So it's exciting. I love seeing stuff be done with Wild, and like we said, it got Zeroshio to play Wild.
Wild's the best.
Well, I just realized something. So yes, it did get me to play Wild, and I was able to get Wild Legend last month to kind of practice for this. A lot of people are playing Wild right now. My friends list is filled with people playing Wild. I've been actually matched up against a lot of people on my friends list, much to their chagrin, because I beat them and they didn't like it. But that happens. What I didn't realize is that the finals would be on February 23rd. So I will probably not push for a top 100 finish. I will still push for Legend.
You should totally push for a top 100 finish. You just don't have to be top 2 in playoffs.
Oh, I guess that's true. I can try to push for the money that way. But February 23rd, I have a prior engagement scheduled as well as my anniversary. So that would be.
Sorry, honey.
So I'm going to throw out the question everyone's really asking in their minds, which is probably the unpopular viewpoint. Do you think that the increased interest in Wild is an indicator of the state of Standard?
No.
I don't.
I don't either. I think it has to do with the $11,000 prize purse to first place.
Yeah, that, and we did say on this show roughly, it was really early in our episodes, that when the HCT stuff was going on, we asked, will they ever do anything like this for Wild? And I believe we kind of collectively said that they might, but it may take 4 or 5 years for the card pools to fill up enough and them to have enough time to drum up interest in Wild and to do some promotion stuff in Wild to then make this happen. And this may be the start of it. And we're going to be talking about it in a second. But there's also a Wild bundle just came out today where you, for $25, you can get 40 packs, 10 Goblins versus Gnome, 10 Grand Tournament, 10 Whispers of the Old God, and 10 Mean Streets packs. And the thing with that is, sure, this is a way for them to kind of capitalize on everybody going into Wild, but maybe this is a way for them to start getting into a competitive, yes, I know money, a competitive format for Wild. And having a competitive format for Wild means you pro players will have to invest into it, because if you want to compete at a high level, you need to have all the cards.
Okay, so I wasn't going to say anything like this, but you just kind of led me into it, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. I think if you're a pro player in Blizzard esports right now, I think I wouldn't be investing jack squat in pro esports with Blizzard. After what they did to the HGC, I think if you're going to be in esports, that's fine. If you're going to play a Blizzard game in esports, that's fine. But I would shore up. I would make sure that I am diversified. And there is no way, after watching what happened with that I would put all of my eggs into the Blizzard basket. Because
I agree.
I think after watching what happened with HGC, then unless Hearthstone starts turning a major profit, I think they're next on the chopping block.
Yeah. And you could be correct in that. I don't doubt that at all. But if I am a competitive Hearthstone player in this field and I am interested in competing in Wild, if I haven't already invested in the past and have the Wild cards in my collection, I'm going to have to pony up a little bit, and maybe this $25 pack will be enough, because we have a note in here also. The new pack rules do apply. So even if you've been playing for a while, the first 10 packs you will open a legendary.
What bundle are you talking about, Zeroshio?
The new Wild bundle, the Wild Welcome bundle, I think is what it is.
Tell us about it.
I just did.
That was an awful segue. It was so bad.
It was so bad because I already said it.
I want to go back to the Wild tournament.
I wanted you to get into more detail, but okay.
Can we go back to the Wild tournament for a second?
Yes. Go back to the Wild tournament.
You know what they did last January? They did a Wild tournament.
Yep.
Yep.
No, what they're doing this January, they're doing a Wild tournament. Yes. So it feels to me, as a Wild player, predominantly Wild player, the Wild focus in January is really just a token. Here you go, Wild. We're doing stuff for you.
Yep.
You know, and it's just like a New Year's resolution. This year, we're going to pay attention to Wild, and in February 1st, they're not going to give a crap. That's honestly what I feel about it, and I love the fact they're doing this, and I love the fact that like Team One Trick exists, and they're trying to promote the scene as much as they can, and yeah, they're getting behind this, but it's like there should be more support from Blizzard outside of a bundle and a token tournament at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I don't think you're going to get it though. I think you're going to need to you're going to have to grassroots this. So 100%. I think if Wild starts to gain traction, I don't know if you want it in Blizzard's hands right now. I think DreamHack does very well with the way they handle their Hearthstone, and I think if there were more DreamHack-esque tournaments that were around, I think you could start to see Wild versions of Hearthstone being played at those tournaments. But I think that's the only way Wild players are going to start to grow the Wild scene, because I don't think it's profitable enough for Blizzard to pay attention to it right now.
And Team One Trick has done a good job. I got to give a lot of kudos to those guys over there. Is that Slizzle and their crew?
Yeah, Slizzle, Danny Donuts, EK Designer, and there's a Duin I know is involved, and a few other people. But yeah,
I'm a Danny Donuts fan.
They have partnered up with Into the Wild as well to help disseminate some of that information. So if you want more information about Wild tournaments and Team One Trick, definitely check out that podcast. But
I'm a Donuts fan. Danny's cool too.
Like Avanti said, and I'll go over it again. It's $25 for 10 packs from Goblins vs. Gnomes, Grand Tournament, Whispers of the Old Gods, and Mean Streets of Gadgetistan. And the new rules do apply. So if you never open these packs, you will get one within the first 10 packs. So if you're new to Wild and you want to get into it and you don't have some of those cards, that bundle is available. Now, being on the ladder recently, a lot of players, even up where I'm at ranks 2 and 3, are playing on the Wild with standard decks and they're viable. So I know there's a lot of stigma into people playing on the Wild ladder without using wild exclusive cards. But I'll just tell you, play what you enjoy playing, and if it wins for you, it wins for you.
Yeah.
Because all of those decks are wild decks, because wild lets you play any card from any set. You don't have to play cards from older sets.
Yeah, I'm playing a hunter list right now that is completely gross, but it really like has like the only wild cards that it actually really needs to use are like maybe like 2 or 3 hunter secrets, maybe just like 2 hunter secrets. That's it. Like, you know, Bear Trap and like and Cat Trick. That's it. Like
and that's
outside of that, it's pretty much a standard deck.
And that's why I like Wild, because you can do whatever you feel like doing. If it's working for you, great. If it's not working for you, but you're enjoying it, still great. Just go into Wild, have fun. It's crazy. Playing around secrets, you almost need a calculator and a protractor. It's crazy. It's nuts, but it's fun. I have had my most intellectual stimulation in Hearthstone in the last month playing in Wild.
All right. So there you go. Pick up the bundle. If you've never opened any of those packs, guaranteed 4 legendaries. Just try it out. Wild is a lot of fun. Also, this has just recently been announced, but if you guys have followed our show for any length of time, you know that in the past we have had 2 of the current World Championship players on our show. Well, the Hearthstone World Championship has been officially announced. It will take place April 25th through the 29th in Chinese Taipei. So normally the rotation for the year happens around the end of March, the beginning of April. So this pushes kind of past what we've seen for a rotation time frame in previous years. Do you guys think we'll be seeing the World Championship played in the new standard year, or do we think they're going to push the rotation of standard year until after World Championships? Matt, we'll start with you.
I think, I don't know, when they first announced this, I thought it was super weird. They're like, okay, end of April, that's super weird. But it makes sense because this tournament that's coming up this week, starting this weekend, the European playoffs and the eventual winter whatever championships this is coming up, will be for all of Raven. And why not crown a new Hearthstone world champion from all of Raven with the year of the whatever? You know, so I think, yeah, maybe, you know, so because that will test those players to actually have something, you know, that they are, you know, they start the next year with this. But it also is weird that there will be no technically there will be no Raven champion of the year of the Raven, if that makes any sense.
So you say technically there won't be a year of the Raven champion, but this to me just means we're not going to have the new set out by April 25th. I would not be surprised if we also get an announcement close to this that Hearthstone's going down to 2 sets a year. Instead of having 3 135 card sets, maybe we have 2 205 card sets. Maybe they found out having the 3 sets out is not allowing players, you know, or not giving enough time between sets for players to want to buy more. Maybe that middle set in the year is not selling. So if they do 2 bigger sets instead of 3 medium-sized sets, I don't agree that would be the right way to go, but I would not be surprised if that's the way this goes. The one thing that really, I'm going to say it, this ticks me off. This makes me angry. Less about the time frame and more that Hearthstone World Championships is going to be held in Chinese Taipei, which is the location of the team that was disqualified from Hearthstone Global Games for cheating. So the Hearthstone Global Games had Chinese Taipei going to BlizzCon, they had to be replaced because they had teams cheating. They straight up admitted to it once they were caught. Also, 2 of those players that got caught cheating were invited to an invite-only tournament, which I don't want to give much airtime on because I did not support it, did not watch it, 100%. And I will not promote it. So therefore, this gives me a sour taste in my mouth. And I know there's been a lot of shakeup in the esports for Blizzard as a whole, including Hearthstone. And I hope this is not kind of the tale of what is to come, that they're putting money in teams and regions that have openly manipulated the esports and tarnished esports for Hearthstone. I don't necessarily think those players should be banned from competitive play, but they should be allowed to play in open tournaments and redeem themselves. But I don't think they should be invited to Hearthstone specific and Blizzard sponsored tournaments, just a few months after being disqualified from the Hearthstone Global Championships.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, you ready for me?
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
So when we first started talking about the change from having the Hearthstone Championship at BlizzCon, this was something we talked about. How hard was it going to be to line up the championship on your release dates? What kind of pressure would that put them under, and what kind of time constraints would it place on Hearthstone esports in connection to Hearthstone as a business? I think if you wait until April 25th or later to launch this new set financially, I think that's a disaster. I think if anything, this says we're going to get the set earlier to give people at the tournament time to accommodate the new cards from the new set into their deck lineups. So to me, this says the new set will launch the first week of April. If they move to a 2 expansion set, like Zeroshio says, then I think it ends up taking money out of the pockets. And the reason why I think that, they talked about the mid set being lower selling. Well, what have been the middle sets the last 2 years? You have Knights of the Frozen Thrones, which ultimately was a weak set with the exception of the Death Knights. And then you had Boomsday to come out, which how many people are really playing Boomsday cards? I think it just so happens that the middle sets have been weaker sets in general. I don't think they would have sold well regardless. So I don't know if that's necessarily a good indicator that the 3-set system isn't working. And the last part of this point is we are already complaining about stale metas before the new sets in a 3-set-a-year rotation. Can you imagine how stale the meta will be if they move to a 2-set rotation? Once again, financially, I think that is a terrible decision.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it'd be a good decision. It's just something I could see happening. Now, and I know Matt has one more thing he wants to mention. It could be that they've lined this up to literally be the weekend before the set drops, say that Tuesday. Maybe we already know the new cars, the new set. And this is literally the last weekend before the new set releases. But that puts a release right at the beginning of May, and to me that's a little late. But I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. They haven't even announced what the format's going to be for tournaments in 2019 yet.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make, was like the fact that, like the 2019 tournament format is literally completely up in the air. We have no idea what it's going to be. And I would imagine that this late in the championship format in April would be under those rules. So who knows what those rules are, because they haven't come out with anything out since the initial announcement. Like, yeah, things are changing. Okay, now what? So yeah, this is really strange year in the whole, just for esports and Blizzard in general.
So how that worked out for HGC.
Yeah.
Real quick hypothetical, and we'll move on. we talked about the possibility of the format being a single deck format with possibly, sideboards. What if they're pushing this out so they can have a UI in place to accommodate something like a sideboard, which that would be good. Again, that's speculation, but I'd be okay waiting a little longer and having the championship a little later if that's the case. If they're having to get the UI tooled specifically for the new format.
I know that I'm probably in the minority here, but that's one way to not ever get me to watch, or to get me to not ever watch another professional Hearthstone event. If they move to a one deck format, my interest in Hearthstone esports is just over.
I could see that. It just seems boring to me as well.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be interested in it.
I don't either. WSOE did a great job with their bring 9 pick ban system.
That was a fantastic tournament.
Agreed.
And
100%.
who knows?
Actually, the specialist tournament that happened the next weekend, that was a ton of fun to watch. I'm sorry, that was a single deck format with sideboards. That was actually a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah, that was pretty good actually.
I wasn't interested at all.
All right, so let's move on. This coming weekend, we have the HCT European playoffs. So if you guys want to kind of get an idea of what you may see coming up in Worlds, if it is in fact happens before the rotation, this will be a good tournament to check out. Our good friend Wicked Good has compiled everything into a deck list browser, as he did with the previous events. We will have a link to that in our show notes on our website.
And as a quick correction, that's our Wicked Good friend, Wicked Good.
Yeah. So that'll be on our website at heropowerhs.com in the post for this week's show. That should be available tomorrow morning. So if you want to check that out, highly, highly recommend checking it out. So in some recent news that just kind of broke today, there has been a survey going around some players in the community that it didn't go out to everybody. It went to a select group, and there has been quite a bit of talk about it, especially after, as we talked about earlier, that some of the things that have happened in the Heroes community. But after asking your age, the next question on the survey reads, if there were no Blizzard-sponsored Hearthstone tournaments, how likely are you to play Hearthstone in the next 30 days? So this really sounds like they're gauging community interest in Hearthstone tournaments and whether or not it's in their interest to continue to run Hearthstone tournaments, or maybe they're thinking we don't do Blizzard sponsored events anymore and we hand them off to third parties like WSOE and DreamHack. All right, so I know we're on a timetable, but let's get points of view from each of the guys. Versika, we'll start with you.
I think Blizzard's all in on Overwatch. I think everything else is completely secondary, and I think they're trying to figure out where they can cut their costs. So I think they are absolutely trying to gauge how much a tournament being Blizzard sponsored is important to the community. I think if I'm an HCT pro player, I am like reaching out to my convention venues and saying, "Hey, can we figure out a Hearthstone tournament here?" I think if you're an organizer like Tempo Storm, if you're a team owner or whatever, I'm talking to my contacts. I'm trying to figure out ways to get tournaments at PAX East and PAX West and in the DreamHacks and all these other places, because at this point, I don't think Blizzard is interested in running Hearthstone tournaments either.
All right, Matt at Arms.
Yeah, I think the tour stop system is not long for this world. I think the global games system is not long for this world. I think one of those things where it's going to have to be community driven. It's going to have to be like WSOE. It's going to have to be like Siege Story. It's going to have to be DreamHacks that take up the mantle. And what type of competitive system is going to be, like, they gave us a hint, but honestly, we don't know anything yet. So who knows? It's the Wild West, and all of a sudden.
That's true. All right, Zeroshio, let us have it.
So, and I'm just going to go over this quick because everybody made really good points that I agree with. But one thing I want to clarify is the Hearthstone Tour Stops has officially been announced that they're not doing those anymore. All the tournaments are going to be done via online opens and then other online like tournaments. And then I think they said 3 yearly LAN events that people will qualify for from those online tournaments. I do agree that the OWL, the Overwatch League, has really invested a lot of their money, and they're having to show proof on that to the investors that bought in to the OWL, and so far they haven't. So they need to move things around. If that means that third party companies have to run Hearthstone tournaments, DreamHack's proven and PAX has proven they can do that well. So we'll just have to see what happens, and if you're up to continue on. If you're not, then show your protest by not supporting the game.
There you go. All right. So that brings us to this week's Tavern Brawl, which is a brawl block, old and new. Construct a deck using only GVG, so Goblin versus Gnomes, the Grand Tournament, Witchwood, and Boomsday only. That means no class cards, no basic cards, no classic, and none of the other sets. Those 4 sets only are all you have to build with. I know who I'm going with last. So, Zeroshio, have you started and played in this Tavern Brawl yet?
I have. I made an even shaman. I knocked it out in one try. I still had a quest to play shaman, so I played a few more games and conceded to my opponent, so they got their win. I liked it. I think this gives possible hope to block formats in the future. That would be really cool if third-party companies want to get behind that and say, hey, these are the 4 sets we're using. Maybe you add basic. Maybe you don't. I don't know. And make a deck and have a tournament. That would be really, really cool.
Okay. Versika, you had a chance to participate in this week's Brawl?
Not interested.
Yeah, I didn't think you were. Those are the sets you like the least.
So GVG and Grand Tournament, he's out.
Yeah.
And Boomsday.
Well, yeah, he didn't have. I'm saying he didn't even get to the 3rd and 4th sets. He read the first 2 and walked away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have Man at Arms.
I absolutely love this brawl. This brawl is my favorite brawl they have ever done, and it's saying a lot because I've liked a lot of their brawls. Just the fact that it's completely limited. It's build your deck out of just these cards. No classic, no basic. Throw those cards away because this week I'll be playing this mode exclusively. I think it's a ton of fun, and I've already tweeted the Jomag, the Jomag gamers. Next time you do this, if you make a Brawl CM version of this, I will love you forever. I think this is. I hope that we have a rotating monthly ladder of something like this in the future. I think that would make me the happiest man on the planet again. I think that this brawl is amazing, and yeah, you will probably do the best with any type of mech deck, especially with GVG and Boomsday mechs. But I think this brawl's awesome. I love it, and that's all I'm going to say.
I will say, for meeting Joe Mag at BlizzCon, if you have input on the Tavern Brawls, shoot him a tweet because he does listen to those, and he loves hearing feedback, both positive and negative. Just make sure it's constructive either way you do it. One question I have for Versika, though, is if they did this brawl again with 4 different sets, would there possibly be a combination of 4 sets that you would try it out?
Oh, yeah, any set that doesn't include GVG.
Okay.
Fair. That's fair.
There you go.
There's only so much pilot of Treader you can actually stand.
In my opinion, even after all the sets that have come out, it is still the most busted set when it's allowed to be included.
So if they did, let's just throw this out. Let's do Naxxramas, Knights of the Frozen Throne. Let's throw in Whispers and Witchwood.
Absolutely.
I
I'd
think
actually
that would
probably
be
play that.
a ton of fun.
I would play that a lot. I probably wouldn't enter another mode.
So it's not this brawl format that you don't like. It's just a selection of sets.
Absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted to get that clarification.
I really like that the classic and basic cards aren't in it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with this.
Yeah.
Like the fact that those two sets, and I've been railing on getting classic out of standard forever.
Mm.
The problem the problem is that you're replacing classic with GVG because the set was so strong from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like you replaced one problem with another.
Yeah.
So give me a format that doesn't have those power cards in it, and I'm all in.
And I completely get the people that are saying, I never played GVG, I never played TGT, I have a disadvantage in this brawl. You do. I'm sorry for that. And I kind of wish they would actually just, hey, here's these cards, you can play with them. They're free. By the way, you can buy them in the Blizzard store. Here's a link. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Point them to where they can buy the Wild Bundle.
Yeah, just to level the playing field between people like me and people who started like back in like Whispers or something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't think about that because if you are new, you might only have 2 of these sets, and that does really limit. I mean, maybe they need to give people access for just a brawl, the entire selection of all 4 instead of your own, cards.
Yeah. I think it gives people a bad taste of what Wild would be like.
Yeah, none of the decks that you can actually make in this brawl would be any good in Wild. Except for maybe the Mech Hunter, that's actually
even Salmon
Wild.
But what I'm trying to say with that is that you see GVG cards and you just get run over by them, and you're like, yeah, if that's what Wild is like, I'm not interested in going.
Yeah. So about that Mech Hunter, that might be what I got my win with today.
That deck is actually just straight up good in Wild.
Did you shower afterwards?
No.
You should have.
I'm enjoying the feeling.
He is relishing in the funk that is GVG and Boomsday mixed together.
You were the stinky kid in school, weren't you?
Yes, he was. I will.
All right, so moving on to this week's deck of the week, we are taking a look at the most brought deck to the EU, the EU playoffs this weekend. I believe, Matt, you said something like 63% of players brought this deck.
Yeah, 63% of players brought a version of this deck, probably like 3 or 4 cards off from this. But yeah, it's the most well represented deck in this.
Okay,
it's because it doesn't have a legitimately bad matchup.
Well,
it doesn't. It's not favored in all the matchups. It just doesn't have a bad matchup.
Yeah, and of course we're talking about Hybrid Secret Hunter. So I'll run down the deck list, and then I'll kind of let Matt and Zeroshio and Versika discuss it, because I know there are some wildly varying opinions here. So, all right, the deck list that we are running has 2 Dire Mole, 1 Hunter's Mark, 2 Spring Paw, 2 Crackling Razor Maw, 1 Explosive Trap, 1 Freezing Trap, 2 Scavenging Hyena, 1 Snake Trap, 1 Stomp, 1 Venom Strike Trap, and 1 Wandering Monster. Then it's got 2 Animal Companion, 2 Kill Command, 2 Master's Call, 1 Dire Frenzy, 2 Flanking Strikes, 2 Lesser Emerald Spellstones, Subject 9, which I love, 1 Tundra Rhino, Deathstalker Rexar, and of course, Zul'jin. So, Matt, give us the rundown on this deck.
So this is if Mid-Range Hunter and Secret Hunter had a baby, this would be it. This deck can be extremely aggressive, but it also can sit in and settle in for the long game really well. Mulligans, you're looking for Dire Mole, you're looking for Spring Paul, you're probably looking for your Wandering Monster and or the Spellstone. Subject 9's not a bad keep either. Yeah, this deck has game, like Versika said, it has game versus every deck in the format, I think. With the power with Deathstalker Rexar and the refill of Zul'jin, it's probably the best deck in the format.
All right, Zeroshio.
This is a good solid deck. I personally have played it and haven't had the success other people have, but again, I'm not your best hunter player. I will say, if you are seeing this on the ladder and you want to counter it, it's not an easy deck to pilot, but I've been farming this deck with OTK Paladin. Mainly because you don't have to pop their secrets when you're OTK Paladin. That's the biggest crutch of this deck is your opponent will have to pop the secrets to eventually win the game. If they do nothing, they cannot win the game. Unless they're playing an OTK style deck like Mecha'thun, any Mecha'thun deck, or OTK Paladin, any kind of one-turn kill that has an alternate win condition. So if that is the only weakness I found this deck, and there's not a lot of weaknesses, is that it can be controlled out, and then at that point the normal control decks can't win because of all the secret pressure, but OTK decks can.
Okay, and Versika, give us your thoughts on this deck list.
I think it's hands down the best deck in the meta right now. I think it doesn't have a bad matchup. The Spellstone is ridiculously powerful on its own, and I think most decks struggle to handle 2 full power Spellstones, especially when they're played on curve. I think you combine Zul'jin with that, and I think that it makes for a fairly narrow win condition against the deck. And I think that's why I think if you lose with this deck, it's probably because you weren't patient enough with it. It doesn't play like an aggro deck. You can play it that way, but your win rate's going to suffer. I think this plays a lot like a mid-range / control deck. And I think when you play it like that, I think you will see a pretty significant win rate.
Yeah, there's a couple versions of this, and I think the one I like the best, I just grabbed this one completely at random. There's one of this that actually cuts one of the flanking strikes for a Wandering Monster and runs Timberwolf. Timberwolf's a 1-mana 1/1 hunter basic card that probably everyone who's played any mana hunter has gold. It gives all your other beasts on the field +1 attack. That card is probably one of the biggest surprises to me in how powerful it is, especially with something like Spring Paw. Because all of a sudden your 1/1 little token dude, your 1/1 little dudes become 2/1s, and they start trading with a lot of stuff, and it's phenomenal.
Yep.
So,
all right, let's play it. These games should be pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, so guys, if you're joining us on Twitch or YouTube, stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
oh dear God. Did anybody have second dinner tonight? No?
Working on
I'm
it.
just keeping my mouth shut. Try not to get myself into trouble. I have a hard time with that,
So let's...
As Avanti writes down the part to edit out.
So, Matt,
let me know when
you are driving this week.
I am driving. Let me know when you're in, Navani, so you can watch me.
He likes to watch.
Oh, I knew that.
Wow, we're skirting the edge tonight, aren't we?
Hero Power After Dark.
That's like
Hey,
5
audio
o'clock. That's like
portion's
5
done.
o'clock. That's like 5 o'clock for me right now. That's not that late. All right, you're in. I'm in. I'm spinning.
Let's do this.
I am playing standard. Okay.
I'm spinning.
Oh, biting my tongue so hard. All the inappropriate jokes.
Yeah.
I got a worthy opponent.
All right.
I miss them.
Hey, I think I beat Spectate Boss on first try.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Wow.
So I got a
I'm not
Spellstone.
giving the spectate option.
I got a Master's Call. I got a Subject 9, and I got a Razor Maw. I think I'm going to toss the Subject 9 here and the Master's Call. Razor Maw, I'm tempted to keep, but Spellstone's for sure keeping.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Razor Maw. I might have to coin it out on one if I don't
Against
get
a Paladin, we're on a clock, right, Zeroshio?
Well,
Depends
you
on the
really want to
paladin.
get to the explosive trap, which we got.
Yeah, it depends on what type of Paladin it is. Let's see what the hero power turns into.
It could be odd because odd has made
Definitely
a.
not.
Yep,
On
there we
the
go.
paladin. Yeah.
All right, so I got no 1-drops yet. I still didn't get any 1-drops, but I got a Deathstalker Rexar. That's kind of cool.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm gonna coin out this Razor Maw.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the coining out the Razor Maul. I do maybe want to give the explosive trap a couple turns to kind of get the most value. Now,
Yeah.
if we get, say, another trap, any trap just about, especially Wandering Monster, I'd rather play that trap.
Dire Frenzy's not any good here. I'm just gonna hero power and take out one of the dudes. Though actually, I don't have to worry so much about the dudes
You
anymore.
don't have to
because,
worry about the
of-
dudes anymore. So I would take out the Firefly.
All right, yeah, because that's right. Dire Frenzy or not or
Level up is not a concern anymore. You're mainly worried about the attack of minions being raised, not the health.
All right, so this looks like a explosive trap board.
This is a
Now, I'll say-
solid.
I'll say this for Odd Paladin. Once level up went out, the skill level required to pilot the deck went up quite a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they run the Frostworth Warlord in that spot
Warlord.
now, and it's
good, but
it's
it's no
super
level
good.
up.
Yeah, they go instead of going wide and mid range, they go tall now.
Yeah.
So, all right,
We really haven't.
all right. This snipe's going to be nice just to make us have a bunch of wolves come out the next turn.
Yeah, the problem with that though is we're behind.
We're way
But
behind.
This may make him play around a secret, but he'll probably mindlessly just run in like that.
Yeah, there's the other. Yeah, I think there's almost a point to having like 2 explosives in this list. The secret package is like really flexible here. I
Yeah,
think this is more tech for like a control meta.
If you didn't have more doubles of secrets, I would have rather maybe see like secret plans
Yeah,
in this list. Yeah, I think this is a
turn 5.
guaranteed spell turn. But this just really doesn't challenge the board well enough, though, is a problem.
it's matches the board, and I can follow up with a Rexar because the Rexar is
That's
going to
true.
clean up this board with the wolves.
I think he's just going to go face.
I think
If
he'll
I was
go
him, I'd
face
go
too.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely. If I was him, is he trading? No.
He'll trade.
Yeah.
one, but that was a kind of a dumb move. Because
Okay.
now Rexar just
He's
tears that
Rexar.
board
Huh?
apart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy, Rexar.
No,
We
it's
could
gonna
actually trade the whole board, right?
trade off the wolves. We'll have 1 left over. Then we can maybe Dire Frenzy next turn since we already have our DK or heroes.
Yeah, and with our hero power, we can start prioritizing
He's just going to
life steal, taunts, and life steal.
Yep.
This list does run 2 owls, so he
Master's
probably will silence.
Call will pull a Dire Maul, a Spring Paw, and either 2 Spring Paws or to help clean up the board.
It won't pull 2 of the same minion
Oh, that's right. It will
because
pull.
it's like a discover, so it'll only give you 1.
Yeah.
So you're
the
guaranteed a spring maul.
so that's 3 mana plus 5 mana for the Build a Beast. Let's do the Build-A-Beast first.
Okay.
Let's go for something cheap. I like Reaver. I like the charge. It's a 3-2
Wow.
that charges.
But we won't be able to fit in the spring pulse and that.
Let's see what I get off the. I'm gonna.
So we double spring paul
I like it.
or spring paul
Yeah.
dire mole.
I would.
Let's do Dire Maul. We're running out of time.
Yep. I think I saw Versika's line where you run the 2 spring pulls in and then take the 3/2 to face.
Well, I
Yeah.
can also build up the Scavenging Hyena.
Yeah, you can. We're gonna need taunt or some kind of lifesteal soon.
That's what I was thinking. You're going to ultimately have to hide behind taunt anyway.
This is bad.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I can also let's see how many cards I
We
have.
can roll for poisonous, but we still will need cheap.
Cheap.
Yeah. There's
Poisonous
Rush.
Rush.
Yeah,
There's
that's 5.
taunt,
take-
though.
Do we take the 1 and 3? I think we take the 1 and 3 with the Razor Maul.
Yeah, but that still doesn't. I mean, we lose to a raid leader.
Yeah. Yeah, we're dead. We're dead.
Yeah, we can't even rush things down. Yeah.
Let's build up a threat that he might try to ignore, but otherwise I think we're dead. Because he has
We'll have, what, 8 on the board?
8 on the board, so yeah, just needs 1.
He just needs 1 point of damage. Raid leader wins it.
Stormwind
Yeah.
Champion wins it.
Yeah.
He's got it. He's just taunting you.
Most of the lists have cut Stormwind Champion out.
Yeah. They were on like Liam and other weird stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
They added BM. Oh, and he's gonna divine favor. See, this is what drives me nuts about rank 5 really bad right now. Is because people they can't just win.
Yeah,
They have to try to humiliate you.
Yeah, if he
Well, I
would've just-
mean, it's part of the problem with Hearthstone in general is that we've celebrated bad manners for so long now that everybody thinks they have to do it every game.
yeah, if he would have literally just played that the buff your dude by 3 and went face, I'd have let him do it. But I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's just
All right, let's see if we can get a better matchup. Ooh, Hunter, this is good. Yeah, Odd Paladin tends to beat this deck pretty well. Hey, look, it's the same cards.
I definitely see the value of having a second explosive trap.
Yeah,
because
just for the
your
odd-
subject. I mean, your subject 9 was pretty neutered too.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep Animal Companion here.
yeah. There's merit to keeping Master's Call.
The other merit is Subject 9's not a bad key. It's a card that I don't mind getting off the mulligan. I never want to keep it on the mulligan, though.
Yeah, the problem is if you keep the subject 9, you're inevitably going to draw 3 secrets.
Yeah.
Go next to it.
Yeah, this is an awful hand.
It's not terrible. I mean, I would like to see some 1 or 2 drops, but
I'm still questioning the Dire Frenzy in this deck. I'm not a
the
big
Dire
fan,
Frenzies are used for the Spring Paws.
I suppose.
I would like to
Fritz-
see
uh-oh.
more secrets in the list.
Guys, we're going to lose this game. Fred's watching me.
Uh-oh.
So next turn's probably a coin Animal Companion, depending on what I draw off the top.
Right.
Depending on what he does, because he's taking a little. He kept his entire hand.
He may be playing the same list.
I wouldn't be surprised.
If that's the
Yeah.
case, at least he'll be moving a little slower than
I'm surprised
we
he
had
kept
last
his-
game.
I'm surprised he kept his whole hand and has no action on 2.
I was going to say, he didn't attack.
Yeah, he didn't even attack. Yeah, you're right.
I'm just going to trade that off.
But he did emote that he oopsed, so
I was going to clear off the 1/3 with the Huffer there.
I think he at least has 1 Spellstone in his hand.
This is not the same list. This is
No,
a
it's not.
mid-range hunter.
It could be a different variation of Secret Hunter,
All right, we're gonna
not the
do this.
Secret mid range.
I think it's easy spring paw and the razor maul here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
like it. And this, if the
I
spring,
like it.
if the Razor Maul takes the weapon shot,
You want to do can't be targeted?
uh,
I think if you
Poisonous.
do poisonous, it pretty much makes it a taunt.
True.
yeah, we like to have it out there for the Dire Frenzy next turn, right?
Yeah, we can.
I might have went with the wind. Well, yeah.
Wind Fury for 1 damage doesn't. 2 damage isn't anything. It turns
Well,
into,
the can't be targeted. We can't put Dire Frenzy on it, so we did.
Right.
We wouldn't have wanted that.
Wind Fury was a no-go. So
I mean, we could have, but it would have made it a bigger target than.
come on, play something that I can.
At least it ate up a Spring Paw.
Okay.
Oh,
I can
his
flanking
last
strike.
charge.
He's probably not running secrets.
That's
may
possible.
just not have any. There was one list out there I saw that just ran 2 explosive and 2 freezings. He may just not have them.
Do
Just gotta
we?
flank. I think we just flank that.
I think we flank it too.
I like the flanking strike. The other option is Animal Companion into the
Lynx.
Rush Links, but I think the more efficient line is the flanking strike.
Yeah.
We might want to save the Links to couple with the Dire Frenzy.
Or like whatever we get off Animal Companion, Dire Frenzy. Like if we get a
Sure.
Huffer, Dire Frenzy, that'd be kind of nice.
Right.
Kind of sick. Makes him what, a 7/5?
He is running secrets.
Yeah, he just didn't have them.
That's fine.
Which tells me that far left card is. Well, no, he drew that. He didn't. And so he didn't keep a Spellstone.
Well, there's a Huffer again.
Divine Shield.
That would be nice.
4. Health is good too.
Health is fine.
Health is good
works
too. Yep.
Let's do health.
And it could allow it to stay alive for the
I
Dire
was gonna
Frenzy
say.
next turn.
We are kind of playing into baited arrow, but
I don't think he's running it.
We are, but we have the Hunter's Mark for the Dino, if we need it.
Secrets, that's fine. Play secrets, I don't care. Okay.
Ooh, if he does not kill Huffer, I would frenzy
Frenzy and
the
send it in.
Huffer and then run the Razor Maul first, just in case there's freezing trap.
Oh, it's 100% there's freezing in there. And or Wandering Monster, or both.
I mean, we knew he got it, whether he decided to play it.
All right, Dire Frenzy, you go there.
that is pretty gross.
That's really.
See
I
if
would
Dire
play-
Maul. Let's see if Dire Maul eats the snipe. It does.
Okay, that's good. That's smart.
Crackling Razor Maw to eat the freezing.
Yep.
Or Wandering Monster.
It'll be explosive and freezing.
It's fine.
Nope.
It would have triggered the freezing
Wandering.
trap first.
Oh,
It depends on
beautiful.
order. That's actually perfect.
And I should have.
Yeah.
Oh well. I should
Yeah.
have sent the 3-1 in. That's fine.
That's fine. We're
He's at
putting
10.
him at 10.
Yeah.
So he
And I
has to
think-
trade.
And I think we're just going to do a naked Spellstone next turn, depending on what we get.
We need him. No matter what we do, we fit our hero power in every turn now.
Oh yeah, we're not changing our hero unless it's Zul'jin at this point.
That's probably another explosive.
I was going to say that'll be explosive.
That's probably Wandering,
Yeah.
so that means I'm not attacking then. Unless, really, is he going to waste a spell on that? Wow. Okay, that's fine.
We might be able to just hero power him down.
Ooh, Tundra Ren is tempting.
Yeah. But would it be better with Spellstone on 10?
It might be. I'm thinking I'm just Spellstone. Do I send the links in?
You
I
can't
would-
send
I'm
the
doing-
links in because it's not.
I'm doing-
It's rush.
Oh yeah, I'm just doing
Right,
that.
but I
you
mean,
know?
you just play it.
Yeah, just play
mean-
the links.
I don't
Make him
see him running
answer
2
it.
snipes, but Yeah, just playing is probably smart.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't answer it, if he says, "Oh, I have an explosive trap up it," we're at least going to pop it.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's in a bad spot.
Yeah, he's dead in 5 turns. Unless he wrecks ours.
Well, it's dead in 4 turns.
Oh, yeah. Stop making sense and counting.
I know how to break a dollar. That can make sense. Get it. Anyways.
He is running
Okay.
my list, except for with kill commands. Oh, I have kill commands. Never mind. He is running my list.
Except with eagle horns.
Yeah.
He has eagle horn.
Ooh, this Master's Call's nice. Well, let's do this first because we're always doing that.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Ooh, it's a huffer. Let's do this.
And then links it.
Yep.
No, that's not snipe. Oh, I'm dumb.
Well, didn't we want to links that?
Yeah, I thought we had one more mana. Because I was going to get greedy with the spring paw in the hyena.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Oh, those are charging wolves.
Yeah. It's kind of a problem.
Well, he's going to dire frenzy that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my mistake on that.
Well, that's fine because we can spring paw, run in, pop a freezing trap, and then we win with Huffer.
We're dead next turn.
Actually, I like.
We win this turn. We win.
I like-
No, we win.
Send Hydra Rhino to face, pop whatever secrets these are, then send Hover.
Okay, either way. Yeah, okay.
Freezing, whatever.
Yeah. The freezing's what would have stopped us. Even explosive wouldn't kill Huffer.
Wandering monster keeps Huffer from hitting.
Then we spring paw. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. We played
Well,
that badly, but
that-
we pulled it off.
I see Verzika's point. That's why the Tundra Rhino is better than the spring paw. You're right. Yeah. Tundra Rhino was the right play there to play around Wandering Monster.
Yep.
Okay.
One more time.
This is definitely not a mindless hunter deck.
It's. I'm not going to
There's a
say
lot
it's
of thought.
mindless. I'm going to say that this particular hunter deck does better against control than the typical list I've seen
I
using
agree.
these cards.
But
So it is a little more complicated because of that. But I think that the base list of this deck, as you just saw, lets you get away with making a lot of mistakes.
It's going to be even shaman 100%. I think explosive trap's probably the best keep. I want to keep Venom Snipe Track, but I also want other cards.
Snipe
Yeah.
might be. Oh, never mind. I'm
Yeah, we're not-
thinking
we're not-
wild.
No,
I'm
we're not,
thinking wild.
Yeah, we're not worried about Totem Golem.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's the first thing I've been playing too much wild. Sorry.
Oh, this hand. Okay.
This is a
I
sick
need
hand.
a minute. I need a minute.
If we got Spellstone off the top, that would make that a million times better.
This is not even shaman.
Okay, so there is a elemental shaman list out there that is doing decent work, and that may be what this is.
That's easy. Crackling Razor Maw.
Yeah, no reason to rush out the secrets right yet.
Death Rattle.
All bad. Yeah.
Or, yeah, Death Rattle is probably my best bet.
I mean, there are so many good ones. I mean, Wind Fury plus attack, +1/+1.
Health would have been mad. Meh.
Health would have been meh, but
Well, at least he didn't roll for. So we're going to throw up.
did this guy not get the nerf notice? Did he? Is he playing Shutterwalk thinking that it's going to work with the Sarah Knights?
Do we just develop the hyena?
This
I
guy
think so.
just got back from like winter vacation, and he goes back. He comes back to college. He's like, you know what? Before I do my homework, I'm going to play some Hearthstone. Oh, I love that Shutterwalk deck. Oh, nerfs, whatever. They'd never nerf Shutterwalk.
So this leads for really. If he plays anything with really gross play with these spring paws.
This is Shutterwalk.
Oh, there you go.
I'm just going to play these 2 secrets. Power up that spellstone, but you're going to get it ready for next turn so it can get lightning stormed.
I almost want to not win this so fast so I can see if this is actually Shutterwalk.
That's fine.
This is Shutterwalk.
Yep. Oh, this kill command looks really good. I'm just going to lay on the pressure though.
Yeah.
Make him have it.
Make him have volcano. Make him have lightning storm.
So Electra Healing Raid. That wouldn't be real good.
That wouldn't be any good.
No, it wouldn't.
No.
He needs lightning storm. He needs volcano. Well, I got volcano.
Volcano.
It's fine.
Still got 2 1/1s. Actually, that didn't clear the whole board, does it?
Nope.
No, it doesn't.
Couple 3/3s left. Oh, there it goes.
Ooh, weaker lightning.
He has no mana for next turn though.
Yeah.
And we're just going to refill.
Take the next turn off.
Yeah, that's super gross. Do we coin out this hyena? Should we coin out the hyena again?
Well, remember
He
the
has
plants.
no mana.
The plants dying also won't boost it.
I know.
No, but
not
the
beasts.
lynxes are in hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. That's a mistake I've made in the past is considering those plants as beasts for some reason.
Lick him. Cool.
Okay,
Sure.
so maybe it's not a. Maybe he's modified Shutterwalk a little bit to be an overload.
I think we're just
I
going to.
think. I was going to
Snipe
say, I
up.
think you just throw a subject 9 and yeah.
Clear out my hand.
I mean,
a
I
little
like
bit.
to snipe.
Yeah.
Whatever he tries to use as defense is going to get sniped. He has to play a minion to get in the way.
So we have 4 charge damage. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, maybe we have some good charge damage coming. Okay, it's fine.
I mean, that's still good, right?
Yeah, we're fine. Ooh, flanking strike.
We'll make sure we don't have any kind of weird lethal here.
4, 2, 2, 2.
Not with 3/2/4s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's no way. There's no way to push through them all. I would flanking strike at 2/4 and run a plan into it. Yeah.
And subject 9 in there.
Kill
Yeah.
command 1.
No, I want that to go face.
I would probably Venom Strike Trap and
Freezing.
Yeah, what about freezing trap? Because
I would probably just go ahead and push damage. I'd hero power.
I think I'd hero power too.
You're right.
yeah,
I'm just going to
he's
leave
on a
that
clock.
one on the board.
We got to
I'm not
keep
gonna
that
trade in.
clock ticking
I mean-
on him.
Does nothing.
So he kept 1 card off the mulligan. If I'm him and I'm playing against Hunter, I'm keeping Healing Rain.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and guess that we're going to have to play through at least 1 Healing Rain. And if he's got Cragwa in hand, it would be 2 Healing Rains. So you want as much on the board as you can get. And if he attacks
Ooh.
that, you see what I'm saying?
What if this is a Cragwa list where they try to get the Cragwa into all the evolutions?
Unstable evolutions. That's exactly what this is.
That's
Or
a
with
Kibler list.
Zentimo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Kibler list. So you basically fill your hand up with unstable evolutions and just go hog wild.
Oh, there's the healing
Alright.
ring.
Yeah.
So Krogwall's coming next turn then.
Maybe not. He's got enough health now. He can probably push it for 1 more turn.
We got a
He
lot
didn't
of
play the
pushes.
co- Yeah, but he didn't play the card in the far on the far
left.
side. I'm willing to bet that that's the second healing ring. And judging by the way he just punched that in the face,
Yeah, he has another healing
ah,
ring.
There it is.
there you go.
Then definitely Krogwall's coming down next turn then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Definitely Cragwa. There's a second kill command.
I mean,
So we
it
want to
may-
we want to soften him up, but we don't want to do too much damage because we want.
If we had Dire Frenzy in our hand, I would totally just throw out. I can't do it, but probably next turn, if we get Dire Frenzy, throw out the Thunder Rhino.
Yeah.
So I'm just
I
gonna.
think.
I think I'm just ignoring this totem.
Do we double spring paw and just clear the totem?
I would probably just go ahead and snake trap.
Yeah, I like it
And then I would clear the totem
with the 2/3.
with the 2/3. And then push the 1/1 to face, of course. And then I don't know that you don't throw out Tundra Rhino.
He already used his hex, and he has 16 cards left.
Yeah, he's got one more hex, but I think you would want him to use it here with Zentimo over an unstable evolution.
That's true. Yeah, that makes sense.
He may feel like he has to.
This would be the Krogwall turn. Don't tell me you top deck Krogwall.
Well, I mean, he's up there now.
He didn't realize he's not overloaded.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why did he hit the 2/3 when he's
just lightning storming?
I agree. I don't think he realized he wasn't overloaded.
Yeah, because even if
he was clearing.
Yeah.
If he had the lightning storm and thought he had 3, then he would have hit the Tundra right now.
No, he just quit out of the app. Oh wait, no. There's the hex. Yep.
Yeah.
It's fine. We still have 2 animal companions. Leok would be amazing.
Lightning storm?
Rain
Oh,
of toads.
another toads.
Okay.
It's raining toads. Hallelujah, it's raining toads.
So really, he just mismanaged the turn, because if he'd played Rain of Toads first, he would have gotten rid of the...
Leok?
Give me a Leok. Show me Leok. That's a huffer.
Yeah, it's a huffer.
That's okay, though.
Merit's the same damage, though, right? One less. Okay.
No, Leok would have been amazing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still think you clear...
So clear one there, and then
send in
Huffer, and then do we use 1 kill command on the 2/4 and then send the rest to face?
Well, he's out of range. He
can't Krogwall those back now, can he?
Right,
because it's already been a turn.
He will Kragwa those toes back. You will have to push through that again.
That's fine. We have 0. We have 1 secret left. We have. Let's see here. Dire Frenzy, Flanking Strike, another Spellstone, a bunch of 1-drops, and our DKs. Okay.
So is there any merit to...
Oh. See, Kragwall is going to meet the Snipe, so it's going to go down.
I don't...
Oh!
That's great.
Yeah.
Unless he stacks on top of it. That's really good.
So he doesn't have Kragwall.
Ooh, hi there, Flanking Strike.
Yeah. That's exactly what we want.
That's beautiful.
Do I just send this kill command straight face?
I wouldn't yet. I would have probably cleared the totem.
Well, he's going to run it into a wandering monster and an explosive trap. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about it getting an unstable evolution.
That's fine. We have freezing trap.
Do we run a spring paw? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Yeah, my thought before was if he happened to have, which he was overloaded, so he couldn't have Alakir if we wanted a freezing trap.
I mean, if I had an unstable evolution in hand, I'm looking for...
He won't use it until he knows he has Kragwall.
Sure.
Ooh.
Sure.
It's a pretty list. Ooh. So now we do kill the totem and we freezing trap that.
Oh, yes, we do. Okay.
So we kill the totem with a spring paw. Ooh, we need to kill both totems.
Ooh, we could kill him. Well, no, we can't.
Yeah, because he has a death rattle. But if we use all 3 spring paws to clear the totems and then throw down a freezing trap, but save the 4th one for use with kill command.
And kill command stays in our hand, right?
Yeah, we don't use it yet. Is it set up lethal next turn? No. Well, with a Dire Frenzy, it
with a Dire Frenzy, it might. Yeah, that's
So
going
you're
right
gonna
back in
say,
Oh,
Ooh,
even
stealth.
better.
so it did set up lethal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
It
of the
was going
oh,
to
the
anyway
explosive
because
trap.
of the trap.
I
Yeah.
forgot about the explosive trap. Yeah, yeah. So it does
So
set up
he-
lethal.
He's got to put out a taunt where he's dead.
A taunt or clear this whole
Well,
board.
a taunt will literally just get eaten by a lynx.
Yeah, but that would be, yeah.
Good game.
He realized it. Yeah, that was a good game.
See, Velocity 2G, you should get with the times and go with 4G. That's much faster, more efficient.
They're on 5G now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, true, but he might not be able to afford 5G. He should at least be able to get 4G.
So, all right, guys. Welcome back.
Oh, and you
Oh,
opened
2019.
What?
Some things new, some things always stay the same.
It's
Well,
a
All
dragon.
right.
It's a dragon. It's a dragon.
No, it's not a dragon. I have all the dragons. The only things I'm missing are like Millhouse and
Please be a
Gruul.
golden millhouse.
Oh, Gruul, be Gruul. Don't be Gruul.
Cenarius. Okay.
That's not
Let's
bad.
missing
I have a
Cenarius.
gold. I have a golden Cenarius.
Okay.
Druid? What class is that? Druid?
I don't know what this druid is. It must be something new. New class.
Droid.
Droid? It's a droid. It's a phone that every
Like a
single
robot.
Poke, poke, poke. All right, guys. That's going to do it for us this week. So happy to be back. We will hopefully be back on our regular schedule now, so we will see you guys again next week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Do us a favor, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button below on YouTube or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. And if you are interested in finding out more about our patron-only Discord, you can find those details over at patreon.com/heropower. Until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys.